In 2013, unprecedented floods ravaged South Africa's Marikele National Park, turning its dusty trails into swirling, muddy torrents. The park's rangers received critical orders: patrol the deluged areas, assess the destruction, and save any wildlife caught in the disaster's grip. At first light, they set out in amphibious vehicles, their heavy wheels grinding through the churning waters. The journey was daunting, with submerged paths and debris-strewn routes, but the rangers faced nature's wrath with unwavering compassion and skill, determined to bring hope amidst the chaos. The sky hung low, cloaked in somber gray after days of relentless rain, casting a melancholic veil over the park. Sodden branches sagged along the trails, their leaves dripping, while deep gashes in the earth revealed the flood's erosive power. The team leader, Cabello, gripped his radio, relaying vivid accounts of the devastation to the base. His voice, steady yet urgent, cut through the static as he described collapsed riverbanks and uprooted shrubs. The rangers knew the flood had likely stranded or imperiled countless animals, and their hearts were set on ensuring no creature was left to suffer alone. They halted frequently, wading into knee-deep water to clear fallen logs and tangled vines blocking their path, their boots sinking into the mire. Deeper into the park's lush forested core, the flood's toll grew starkly evident. The once vibrant landscape was a sodden wasteland, with pools of stagnant water reflecting the bleak sky. At a shallow bend in the river, where the current raced but the depth was less punishing, they spotted a leopard standing rigid on a muddy rise. The mother leopard's low, anguished growls echoed, her head bowed, eyes wide with distress. Mud-caked reeds and scattered debris surrounded her, the water still receding in sluggish ripples. As the vehicle crept closer, the rangers saw a cub beside her, motionless in the sludge. The sight pierced their hearts, the cub's stillness suggesting it had not survived the flood's onslaught. They killed the engine and stepped into the cold, murky water, moving with deliberate care to avoid startling the mother leopard. Two rangers, Themba and Lerato, approached the cub, hands raised in a gesture of peace while signaling for the team to prepare first aid gear. The mother leopard snarled softly, retreating a few paces, her gaze a mix of pain and cautious hope. Cabello, seasoned by years in the wild, suspected the cub had drowned, its small body overwhelmed by the flood's ferocity. Time was slipping away, and every second was vital if they were to save it. Themba knelt beside the cub, his fingers pressing gently against its tiny chest to feel for a pulse. Lerato readied medical equipment, an oxygen tube, a portable resuscitator, and a thermal blanket, her hands steady despite the tension. The cub's heartbeat was faint, barely a whisper, likely from prolonged submersion. Themba began chest compressions, his movements precise yet urgent, aiming to coax the cub's heart back to life. Lerato administered oxygen, working to clear water from the cub's airways, her focus unwavering as the mother leopard watched, her eyes never leaving her offspring. Cabello and the others formed a protective circle, soothing the mother with soft words while scanning the surroundings for other dangers, like crocodiles lurking in the floodwaters. The sounds of rushing water, rustling wind, and the rangers' own racing pulses wove into a tense, urgent rhythm. The mother leopard, sensing their intent, edged closer, her body taut but her growls softening. The rangers clung to hope, praying for a miracle. They had seen triumphs in the wild, animals pulled back from the brink, but they also knew the sting of arriving too late. Minutes stretched like hours, each compression and breath a plea for life. Then suddenly the cub coughed, a weak but unmistakable sign of breath. The team erupted in quiet jubilation, Cabello's voice breaking through the gloom with a triumphant, "It's alive!" The mother leopard let out a sharp, trembling cry, a sound that seemed to blend sorrow with relief. The cub's eyes fluttered open, its small body shivering from cold and exhaustion. Themba gently stroked its head, murmuring reassurances, while Lerato wrapped it in a warm towel to dry its waterlogged fur. The cub, still frail, turned its head, seeking its mother's familiar presence. The mother leopard, sensing her cub's revival, approached with a low, warm growl, nuzzling its shoulder. The reunion was a balm to the team's weary spirits, a vivid reminder of the unbreakable bond between mother and cub. The air, heavy with the scent of wet earth and decay, seemed to lighten with their connection. A biting wind swept through the clearing, making the cub tremble. Cabello signaled for more blankets, and the team moved quickly to shield it from the chill. Themba continued monitoring its breathing, noting the steady rise of its chest, while Lorado and another ranger, Nomsa, used their bodies to block the gusts. The vehicle's headlights cast a soft glow on the shimmering water, illuminating the scene like a beacon of hope. The engine's low hum briefly unsettled the mother leopard, but she held her ground, trusting the ranger's care. Nomsa draped another layer of dry cloth over the cub, whose eyes grew brighter, its tail giving a faint twitch, a sign of returning strength. The ranger's resolve deepened, their love for the wild fueling their efforts. They examined the cub for injuries, finding shallow scratches on its hind legs, likely from being battered by flood debris. Lorado applied a gentle antiseptic and light bandages, her touch careful to avoid causing pain. The mother leopard watched, her ears twitching but her stance calm, as if she understood the help being given. "You're a tough one, little fighter," Themba said softly, patting the cub's spotted head as its breathing grew even. The rain had stopped, and the air carried the fresh, damp scent of renewal. Sunlight pierced the clouds, casting golden rays on the rippling stream. Birds began to sing, their calls weaving a tentative melody of peace after the storm's chaos. Yet the rangers knew their task was unfinished. Nomsa suggested transporting the cub to the park's veterinary center for observation, but Cabello, weighing the cub's bond with its mother, countered, "If it's stable, they belong in the wild." Themba nodded, explaining that the cub's early months were critical for learning survival skills from its mother, hunting, navigating, and thriving in Marakili's rugged terrain. They checked the cub's vitals again, confirming a steady pulse and no signs of respiratory distress. Though weakened, the cub's eyes shone with resilience, its small movements signaling a will to survive. The mother leopard licked her cub's face, her tongue gentle but firm, urging it to rise. The rangers, moved by their bond, agreed to let them remain together, avoiding the risk of psychological harm or disrupting the cub's natural development. Before releasing them, they took extra care to ensure the cub was ready, cleaning its fur and checking for hidden injuries. Lorado used a dry towel to scrub away stubborn mud, while Nomsa applied another warm cloth to ward off the morning's lingering cold. They replaced the bandages, adding a layer of antibiotic ointment to prevent infection. Every action was deliberate, designed to keep the cub calm and unafraid. The mother leopard stood close, her ears alert but her demeanor softened, as if touched by the team's compassion. When Nomsa gently patted the cub's back, it let out a faint, high-pitched mew, almost a gesture of gratitude. Cabello's weathered face broke into a smile, his pride swelling at their shared mission to protect the wild. When the cub was strong enough, it wobbled to its feet, tottering toward its mother. The two nuzzled, their reunion a quiet celebration of life. Themba, Lorado, Nomsa, and Cabello stepped back, giving the pair space to reclaim their freedom. The morning sun bathed the cub's damp, spotted fur in a golden glow, and the mother leopard glanced at the rangers, her head dipping slightly as if in thanks. The cub, tail flicking, followed her slow steps into the wet, tangled grass, their silhouettes merging with the landscape. The rangers stood in silence, watching the pair vanish into the park's embrace. The air still held the heavy scent of mud and rain, but their hearts were warmed by the triumph of compassion. As dawn crested, the rescue vehicle rumbled away from the riverbank, leaving behind a poignant tale of love and survival in the wild heart of Marakil.